All right, Coach, welcome. We're in the new digs for this week's edition of Inside Lions Football. So what do you think?
I think it's a pretty good setup. No, thank you to Studio 70 for letting us have it.
Yeah, we think our sports broadcasting students are helping us out with this and going to really make this content even better than it is. So
Yeah.
let's talk about last week. Real classic game, ESPN Game of the Week at St. Andrews. We come out on the wrong end of a 28-24.
Yeah.
Give me some initial thoughts on that game and how it went.
No, it was just, we knew what we had going in, who we needed to stop. I thought we did a really good job defensively. Just a couple big plays didn't really go our way. The offense, pretty much for the most part, stayed on rhythm. We had a couple interceptions that were kind of just freak interceptions, bounce off a guy's helmet, and then the other one, just a desperation play at the end. But all in all, I thought it was a really well-played game on both sides.
So one of the things that I noticed in this last game was consistency was kind of an issue for us. I mean, our defensive backfield has 4 interceptions, so that's phenomenal, but then we gave up some big plays. On the offensive side, DJ throws for 3 touchdowns, but some of the passing game wasn't as effective as we wanted it to be. So how do you work on that consistency coming into next week?
Yeah, just from the offensive side of the ball, we're working on limiting the drop passes. With the young quarterback, nothing's worse than when we drop a pass. Want to get his confidence going. DJ finished, he was 19 for 40. We're throwing the ball a lot. And he had a couple long balls. I think his long was 70-yard to Tice. So again, big play capabilities there. Just need to get, a little bit better of the run game going, sticking on some blocks. But the drop balls, we got to fix that. And then defensively, we're looking at 2 weeks now where the defense has caused 11 turnovers. We had 4 interceptions on Friday. We also had a big time fumble. Levi Champion caused a big strip sack there. We're creating the turnovers. We just got to limit that big play. And I think that's just because, again, young team, young eyes, and just being coached in the right position.
So you mentioned senior Tice Porche. He had a big game, a couple touchdowns, interception. Talk about Tice and what he brings to the team. Yeah,
Tice is a big, again, he's a big athlete. He's multiple state, representative from multiple sports. And so, ESPN top 63 guy, able to get him out where he can play in some space and just do what he can do. He's just a big-bodied kid. And then defensively, he's starting. Things are starting to click. He's starting to see it. You're starting to see that maturity. Another one that did a really good job on the offensive side of the ball was Hudson Champion, another top 63 guy, able to sneak him out and get a big touchdown. Had some really key blocks on some drives. So again, just trying to get the ball in our best playmakers' hands.
And we're going to get to talk to Hudson later in the show when he comes in. So
no, I'm excited about that. Yeah,
we'll bring him on. A player that I heard you mention earlier that hasn't gotten a lot of mention is Sean Victor.
Yes,
you said he did a really great job. So tell us about Sean and what he brings to the team.
Yeah, Sean, a guy that was lacking consistency in a couple of years, but now he's really stepped it up. For the most part, he was on Dylan Faison for most of the game and limited him to really just one big catch. I think he only had 1 ball completed on him for about 8 yards. So just to see Sean really blossom right now in his junior year, we're really excited about that. Other young guys on the defensive side, obviously Levi Champion. I think he finished with I think he had around 17 tackles. He had the big forced fumble. But guys like Braden Simpson run around. Caleb Scroggins, I believe, finished with 13 tackles. He had 3 bat downs with 2 sacks. Again, just young guys contributing in big ways. So again, I'm just really excited to see what the full potential of this team has when we put it all together.
That was a really physical game. What did you like about that? I like seeing our guys, they just were aggressive, swarming to the ball. Caleb was one of those guys I noticed with the sacks, just playing mean, playing physical. How do you get that out of those guys?
It's in practice. Those guys are chippy. They want to work hard. Again, I credit our strength and conditioning coaches, Coach Smith and Coach Evans, just preparing these guys for the summer through getting them really conditioned in the weight room, but also with the contact prep. But again, these guys just like having fun. They're a little bit blue-collared where, they just kind of want to smack some guys in the mouth. So I'll take that all day. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a local top 10 team. We lose by a score in the last minute. You really walk away from that feeling like we did some good things. But now you got to turn the page, go to Westwood. So Westwood comes in here. Last year we played them at their place. I believe it was a 28-21 game. what do you expect from Westwood here at Kaler Stadium?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have big athletes. It's a big school, so, they're going to have a lot of kids to choose from. I know they got some big guys up front, but I do know that we'll be really prepared for them. I think we do a really good job of prepping on offense and defense and special teams. Our special teams, with the exception of one big foul up against St. Andrews, has been pretty consistent. But I think all in all, I think we'll just be really prepared to really kind of bundle them up. Again, they have a big offensive line, but we're pretty speedy, so I think it'll be a good matchup for us.
I know our players are excited to be back at home, back at Kaler Stadium, especially our seniors, as they've got a handful of games before they end their career here. One of those guys is Hudson Champion. We're going to welcome him to the show right now.
Awesome, can't wait.
All right, joining us this week on Inside Lions Football is Senior Hudson Champion. Hudson, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, senior year, what are your expectations this year for both yourself and for the team?
Oh, well, for myself, obviously I'm hoping to play collegiately at the level, so getting an offer somewhere where I don't have to pay for school, a scholarship would be nice. Big team goal we have obviously is win a state championship. The standard here at TKA, we win 3 straight district championships, but we're looking to elevate to that next level, so I would say state championships are a big goal for the season.
Now, you guys have kind of a smaller senior class. Last year there were 15, 16 seniors. This year there's 6 of you guys. How close is that group of seniors on this team?
We're all really, really tight, I would say. Tice Porche, Peyton, Arden, we've all been playing together for a very long time. I know for me and Peyton, we've been starting both sides of the ball since sophomore year. So really like building that continuity. We've been together a lot, so it's been really good.
And speaking of continuity, you play with your brother,
yeah,
and your dad's one of the coaches. Yeah. What's that like when you go home from a game in the car with you guys? What's it like after a loss? Let me ask you that.
That's terrible. It's brutal. My dad, he played at the top level. He had some trials for some NFL teams, so he expects nothing less. Obviously, Levi being a phenomenal player, he is, and then all my older brother having success at Kings as well. After a loss, especially last week, it was brutal. He's honest. He'll tell me my right from wrong. He doesn't sugarcoat anything because he knows where he was and he knows where I need to be. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, so let's talk about that game last week. Tough loss, but it's one of those games where we got a young team. You lose by 4 on the road late in the game. There's a lot you can take away from a loss like that. Give me your thoughts on last week's game.
Last week was tough. We never like to lose St. Andrews. They're probably our biggest rival, for the last 3 years. It's been back and forth, back and forth. And you talk about a young team, and I would agree. Like, you got to think about that's DJ Benemy. That's his second start ever. A lot of young guys. Jacob Tomei, that's a very young guy. Like, second start ever. We're still working out some kinks, still working out the nerves. I like the way we fought, though. We go down early. Obviously, first drive of the game, they go down punching out and score, but we didn't lose fight. And obviously, in the kickoff classic, the big question was, will our offense move the ball? And I think DJ showcased his talents and abilities very well. And obviously, like all quarterbacks for the Kings Academy started early. Joe Daly came in as a sophomore, and he played very well. And it takes time. Honestly, it takes time. So I think the young guys showed me a lot of things, and I like the way we fought. And most of the time, it's good to lose early on in the season because, it's a learning moment, it's a building moment. I know 2 years ago, we lost St. Andrews at home, first game of the year. We bounced back, and we routed off, I think, something like 7 straight wins. So we're looking to do the same right now, and honestly, we're just taking the little wins from this loss.
Yeah, absolutely. You learn a lot from losses. I've lost lots of games in my career. I felt like those are the ones you remember and that you take a lot from. So one of those plays from DJ Benemy was a touchdown to you late in the game that put us ahead. Walk us through that play.
Yeah, that was a good one. The go-ahead score to put us up. We start the drive. We were backed up a little bit behind our 20, and first drive of play of the game, coach calls a wheel, and we get pass interference. Same play I scored on. But Coach Sully was saying in the huddle, like, we're going to come back to that. That's there. Like, the look's there. We get all the way down in the field. Jack Miller has a great catch on 4th down, 4th and long that set it up. But we're in the huddle. We call timeout. And I told DJ, I was like, it's there. It's right now. I was like, so we go to Coach Sully. He's like, yeah, it's there. We're going to run it. And I think it's just the confidence and the trust me and DJ have. Like, over the offseason, we built a lot of continuity and trust in the pass game. So obviously it was there. Perfect ball over 2 defenders and a touchdown.
And what does that do for your confidence to catch one in a big moment like that?
Sky high. Throughout the game, I had little plays here and there, but I was kind of looking for a play to put me on the scene, put me on the map, and I felt like that was a big run right there. And I thought it was going to put the game away, but
So yeah, St. Andrews, credit to them. They battled as well, and it's a talented team. And we walk away, and hopefully that's one that propels us as we go forward.
Definitely.
So, shifting gears for a minute, one of the things Coach B has mentioned about you is that you're one of the leaders on the team, especially spiritually. I know this summer a lot of guys came to know Christ. There was another one of your teammates got baptized. Tell us about kind of the spiritual atmosphere that's going on around the team.
I think Coach B does a great job incorporating God in every aspect of what we do. You know, as a team, we talk about having a Christ-first life, carrying our cross every day. I think Coach B does a good job. You know, you see a lot of coaches around Palm Beach County. It's always like cursing at players, yelling at players, like not really working towards one main thing. And Coach B, obviously from day one, ever since I met him, his main goal was to lead men to Christ, and I think he does a great job in that. As a team, we've definitely grown spiritually. I love last year's team, but this year's team feels like such more of a brotherhood. We're bought into the goal and the purpose. And I think it's great to see, like, when God is incorporated in everything we do, we obviously see play elevated, one, but also lives are changed. Like you said, Chase Croto getting baptized. So I think the spiritual aspect plays a great job into what we're doing. And Coach B does a great job in incorporating God in everything we do.
I think definitely can be a special team, and it starts with that. Obviously, the culture of the team is really strong. So thank you for joining us. Good luck against Westwood. Let's go get them on Friday.
Go Lions.
Now, Coach, what can you tell me about Hudson? You saw him there on the video. What can you say about his leadership for this team?
Yeah, Hudson just has, you know, what I like about him, he's a vocal leader. He tries to hold everybody to a high standard. But he's always, you know, he's a pretty good gamer. You know, he's always looking for, you know, the big play. We can count on him in those things. But I think he's gotten really good at his blocking, especially setting up screens, which opened up the big play for him later on. But again, just a guy who wants to do everything right, putting the Lord first in all that he does. And he's been a really good spiritual mentor for some of these young guys when they have tough questions about their spirituality of you know, how do I seek God? How do I find God? What do I do in my morning devotions? How do I struggle? How do I overcome these struggles that I have? Hudson's been a really good spiritual leader for these young men.
All right, Coach, so it's a blue out this week. We're giving away these blue footballs, so guys come out and grab your stress relief. Hopefully it won't be too stressful of a game. Hopefully we'll do a good job, but what are you expecting? Yeah, just really expecting a good turnout from our fans. You know, now that we're in the swing of things for school, expecting a really big crowd. Really, you know, the support really helps the boys. It helps us out there. But I think it's just a great time to get back on track. You know, coming off of a close game against a really good team, then coming back home, seeing what we need to do, but playing in our own field, not having to play in a hostile environment, and just taking care of business and getting, you know, focusing on getting that win. All right, 6:30 at Chirch Stadium Friday night.
See you there.
Go Blue.